Have you ever wondered why some people naturally capture attention when they enter a room, while others seem invisible despite their best efforts? Today, you're about to discover the secret to becoming someone whose voice commands genuine respect without chasing fleeting likes or superficial approval. Drawing from the timeless insights of Stoicism, we'll dive into proven strategies that empower you to live a more meaningful, impactful, and confident life. If you've ever felt overlooked, stressed, or uncertain about your path, this is your chance to unlock your hidden potential and redefine what true success looks like. Make sure to stick around until the end. You won't believe how powerful these ancient techniques are in today's fast-paced, digital-first world. And hey, if you love discovering real-world wisdom that actually works, hit that subscribe button and join our growing community. Together, we'll explore more transformative stories and strategies to elevate every area of your life. Have you ever stepped into a busy room, whether it be a work conference, a large family gathering, or even an online space brimming with digital chatter, and felt yourself fading into the backdrop despite genuine efforts to be heard? For many people, this sense of invisibility can creep in stealthily, eroding self-confidence over time. In our hyper-connected era, dominated by instantaneous messages, viral social media posts, and ever-expanding networks, it is both perplexing and disheartening to feel overlooked. Yet, paradoxically, such feelings are exceedingly common. We scroll through feeds, observing friends or acquaintances who seem to capture attention effortlessly, and wonder what invisible threshold we have failed to cross. It is tempting to believe we are merely not interesting enough, or that we lack some mysterious charisma. However, the reality often hinges on subtler factors: how we allocate our energy, the authenticity of our relationships, and the manner in which we compose ourselves amidst daily turmoil. In many instances, our craving for recognition originates from a deeply human desire to contribute something meaningful to others' lives. Whether it's professional success or a personal milestone, most of us hope that our actions resonate with those around us. The pursuit of external validation, however, can become a double-edged sword. We risk centering our sense of worth on metrics outside our control: popularity votes, fleeting praise, or surface-level approval. Historically, thinkers have grappled with these dilemmas in various cultural contexts, producing philosophical frameworks that aim to ground self-esteem in something more substantial than outside applause. Stoicism stands out among these philosophies because it has endured through millennia, offering strategies for personal resilience and moral clarity that remain strikingly relevant in the modern era. Central to Stoicism is the idea that we should focus on what we can control, our reactions, our judgments, and our moral purpose, and let go of what we cannot, such as the fickle opinions of others or the unpredictable events life throws our way. This does not mean we should stop caring about how others feel, nor does it counsel retreating into a lonely, self-contained bubble. Instead, Stoicism provides tools for maintaining peace of mind while navigating a world where external admiration is never guaranteed or permanently assured. By anchoring our sense of self-worth in conscious decisions, deliberate habits, and consistent virtues, we develop an inner steadiness that naturally commands more respect from peers and loved ones. This article will unfold 9 Stoic-based strategies to help you illuminate your presence, evolve your sense of self-worth, and garner genuine respect. The strategies themselves, valuing your time, taking care of yourself, listening deeply, embracing authenticity, letting others help, maintaining composure, practicing discretion, seeking challenges, and cultivating gratitude, are deceptively straightforward. Yet, integrated together, they form a robust, holistic approach to living a life of value, both to ourselves and to the communities we inhabit. The paragraphs that follow are arranged into 3 parts, each building on the last, creating a cohesive map for a journey towards self-awareness, emotional resilience, and social esteem. While these pages will remain theoretical in some sense, each concept is accompanied by practical considerations so you can integrate them into your everyday life. Ultimately, these Stoic insights reveal that being valued by others is not the result of aggressive self-promotion or constant striving for the spotlight. Instead, it emerges organically from a life lived with integrity, clarity, and open-heartedness. To appreciate how these 9 strategies came to be, we need first to ground ourselves in the essence of Stoic thought. Emerging in ancient Greece during the early 3rd century BCE, Stoicism later took root in Rome, shaped significantly by luminaries such as Seneca, Epictetus, and Marcus Aurelius. Although the world they inhabited seems distant, populated by togas, emperors, and expansive empires, the core challenges remain relatable. Human beings across time have struggled with anxiety, fear of judgment, the unpredictable nature of fortune, and the desire for respect. The Stoics offered a radical insight. While you cannot control everything that happens around you, you can exercise command over your judgments, intentions, and responses. This pivot inward grants each individual the power to maintain peace and purpose even when buffeted by adversity or ignored by the crowd. Our era is awash with stimuli that the ancient Stoics could never have dreamed of. Digital notifications, viral tweets, image-saturated feeds, and more. At first glance, their counsel might appear ill-suited to the digital intensity we experience daily. Yet, this timeless philosophy remains astonishingly apt for our complicated modern existence. Whether dealing with workplace competitiveness, familial tensions, or the insatiable nature of social media, Stoicism guides us to filter out what is not truly within our control. It teaches that if your core aim is to live by certain virtues, wisdom, courage, justice, and moderation, external fluctuations will not undermine your self-worth or your commitment to personal growth. Although the path to authentic esteem is rarely simple, the Stoics lay down foundational practices we can adapt. They emphasize reflection, self-awareness, and disciplined action. In a practical sense, reflection might translate to allotting 10 minutes each morning to contemplate the day's possible stressors or moral dilemmas. Self-awareness involves recognizing the feelings that arise within you, like envy, frustration, or discouragement, while observing them non-judgmentally. Disciplined action means consistently choosing your response based on clear principles rather than instant emotional impulses. These approaches align seamlessly with modern psychological techniques such as mindfulness and cognitive reframing, thereby bridging the ancient and contemporary worlds. What truly cements Stoicism's modern-day pertinence, however, is its balanced view of community engagement. Unlike certain philosophies that advocate withdrawal from society life, the Stoics saw the individual as part of a larger social organism. Marcus Aurelius, while leading an empire under immense pressure, wrote personal meditations that highlighted service to others as an integral part of ethical living. This communal perspective underlies many of the strategies we will examine. The idea that being valued is not simply an egoic pursuit, but a natural outcome of living ethically and contributing meaningfully. If properly understood and practiced, Stoic principles can thus do more than just help you stand out. They can align you with a more profound sense of personal and collective fulfillment. The first strategy to emerge from these Stoic insights is to value your time. In the hustle of daily life, it is surprisingly easy to slip into patterns of overcommitment, scattering our energy on tasks that neither support our long-term goals nor genuinely benefit us. Modern society often praises busyness as though it were a badge of honor, equating perpetual motion with personal significance. But Seneca's cautionary words remind us that it is not that life is too short, but that we often squander what time we do have. From a Stoic perspective, each passing moment is a non-renewable asset. that deserves careful stewardship. How does valuing your time enhance how others see you? In essence, time management reflects self-respect. When you establish boundaries, declining invitations or requests that detract from meaningful priorities, you implicitly signal that your time is precious. Far from pushing people away, such discernment frequently draws genuine respect. Colleagues and friends learn that you do not say yes casually. Thus, when you do agree, your commitment is real and wholehearted. Likewise, by managing your schedule with intent, you can allocate adequate energy to the pursuits and relationships that matter most, resulting in more impactful and memorable contributions. Implementing this strategy, however, demands an inner reckoning with the fear of disappointing others or being perceived as unhelpful. The Stoics would advise that you examine whether every opportunity that comes your way aligns with your overarching principles and goals. If it does not, politely but firmly declining becomes a service both to yourself and to those who might benefit from your time in a setting where it is genuinely well spent. Another angle is to cultivate more conscious forms of yes. Instead of offering an automatic response to a request, try pausing for a moment to ask if the commitment will uplift or undermine your priorities. This reflective pause is a small but significant Stoic exercise, encouraging you to exert mastery over your impulses. Moreover, valuing your time requires active resistance to modern-day distractions. From the addictive scroll of social media feeds to the ceaseless notifications pinging on our phones, digital temptations can devour hours before we even notice. By identifying your core tasks or values for the day, maybe it's writing 500 words, exercising for 30 minutes, or engaging in quality family time, you create a guardrail against trivial pursuits. Stoics would advocate that such guardrails be flexible but firm. Life is dynamic, but your sense of purpose shouldn't be. Over weeks and months, as you align your schedule more tightly with your deeper aims, you experience not only heightened productivity, but a palpable increase in self-confidence. Others sense this clarity and respond positively. In sum, choosing how and where you invest your finite hours is a direct reflection of the value you place on yourself, and that self-perception resonates outward in ways that encourage reciprocity from those around you. The second Stoic-based strategy calls for you to care for yourself before you care for everyone else. Although many might label this approach as selfish, the Stoics would argue it is anything but. By safeguarding your mental, emotional, and physical well-being, you maintain a stable foundation from which to serve and interact with others effectively. Marcus Aurelius, an emperor juggling colossal responsibilities, penned reflective writings that frequently attested to the value of introspection and self-maintenance. If even the leader of a vast empire understood the need to recalibrate and nurture his own mind, so too should we, regardless of our roles. This principle holds in countless real-world scenarios. Think about the times you have felt burned out, exhausted, or stretched so thin that even minor setbacks triggered disproportionate reactions. In those states, your capacity to empathize, solve problems creatively, or engage compassionately with others diminishes dramatically. Attempting to give from an empty well leads to mediocrity at best and potential harm at worst. Stoicism offers a healthier paradigm, maintaining balance. If your personal routine includes exercise, balanced nutrition, mental rest, or spiritual practices, you are far more likely to show up fully present and resourceful in each sphere of life. The improved clarity and stability you project often invite admiration and trust from others, further enhancing your perceived value in their eyes. Self-care extends beyond physical health into the emotional and intellectual realms. Modern translations of Stoic practice, for instance, encourage journaling as a mode of daily reflection. By writing down your thoughts, concerns, triumphs, and philosophical queries, you engage in a dialogue with yourself that fosters deeper self-awareness. Such reflection can illuminate the emotional triggers you face and offer insights into your habitual reactions. When you couple this awareness with intentional breaks, like a silent walk, a brief meditation, or simply unplugging from digital devices, you fortify your mental reserves. Over time, this routine fosters resilience. Stressful periods or abrupt crises do not knock you off balance as easily, because you have developed coping mechanisms and carved out consistent rest points. Paradoxically, people often hesitate to prioritize self-care because they worry about seeming aloof or unhelpful. However, practicing strategic self-care does not preclude generosity. In fact, it enhances it. When you do decide to help others, co-workers seeking advice, family needing support, or a community initiative that aligns with your values, you bring a replenished self, capable of genuine kindness rather than begrudging obligation. This form of giving is more sustainable and thus more appreciated, whether consciously or subconsciously, by those who receive it. From a Stoic standpoint, each individual has a natural role to play within the broader tapestry of human life. Fulfilling that role with excellence necessitates caring for one's own well-being. By doing so, you become a source of stability in an often chaotic environment, earning respect not through burnout-driven heroics, but through steadfast, consistent empathy and capability. Our third strategy entails a deliberate effort to listen more intently and speak less impulsively. You might wonder how a simple conversational shift could elevate your value in the eyes of others. The answer is deceptively straightforward. Most people yearn to be heard, and genuine, focused listening is a rare commodity. Stoic teachings underscore the virtue of measured speech. Epictetus, one of the most prominent Stoic voices, famously advised his pupils to remain silent unless they had something truly worth saying. Far from silencing one's opinions, this approach aims to maximize the impact of your words by ensuring they are thoughtful and well-grounded. In practice, listening more is a discipline that fosters empathy and reveals nuances you may otherwise miss. When someone speaks to you, perhaps venting frustration, seeking advice, or sharing a story, your role, if guided by Stoic ideals, is to offer undivided attention. This means refraining from interjecting, planning a retort, or mentally wandering off. Instead, you focus on body language, emotional cues, and the core message. By doing so, you gather richer information about their underlying needs, motivations, and context. Consequently, any response you provide carries more weight because it addresses deeper layers of meaning rather than surface appearances. From a relationship-building perspective, people gravitate toward excellent listeners because they feel genuinely seen and acknowledged in their presence. Whether in personal friendships or professional encounters, consistent demonstration of this skill can reshape how colleagues, superiors, or subordinates view you. You shift from being a passerby in the conversation to a person of insight and empathy. Over time, that magnetizes trust. Where trust grows, respect soon follows. In an era of constant digital chatter, where messages are often short, reactionary, and fleeting, someone who provides the gift of genuine listening stands out significantly, even if they speak less frequently themselves. Moreover, speaking less does not equate to self-censorship. Rather, it provides the mental space to refine the content of your speech. Instead of impulsively voicing your initial reaction, you can reflect briefly on whether your words align with the values you hold. The Stoics believed that well-chosen words, grounded in virtue, could uplift conversations and steer them toward harmony or productive resolution. In conflicts, for example, a measured response that acknowledges the other person's stance yet gently clarifies your perspective often diffuses tension more effectively than a torrent of emotive words. Thus, adopting a listen-first approach merges empathy with prudence, both highly regarded Stoic virtues, and increases your social capital by showcasing your ability to navigate interactions with wisdom and calm restraint. When you combine these initial 3 strategies, valuing your time, caring for yourself first, and listening more than you speak, you create a triad of behaviors that align seamlessly with the Stoic moral core. Each strategy may appear independent, but they reinforce one another in profound ways. By setting boundaries around your time, you carve out space for meaningful self-care, ensuring that you enter conversations and engagements with a fuller, calmer presence. When you honor your personal well-being, you also have the emotional reserves to practice active listening, because you are less likely to be mentally preoccupied with exhaustion or stress. Lastly, by honing your listening skills, you become more adept at discerning which invitations or tasks merit your time investments, allowing you to refine your boundary setting even further. This synergy underscores the Stoic emphasis on unity of virtue, the idea that cultivating one virtue often bolsters others. For example, the courage it takes to decline time-wasting obligations can bolster your sense of integrity, which in turn fosters greater peace of mind, enabling deeper empathy in conversations. The outcome is a steadily reinforcing cycle of growth. Such coherence in daily conduct inevitably influences how peers, friends, and even casual acquaintances perceive you. They are likely to recognize a certain intentionality in your actions, a consistent pattern that suggests reliability, clarity, and self-awareness. Over time, this leads to organic respect, one not based on force or grandstanding, but rooted in a genuine appreciation for the balanced way you conduct yourself. It is worth reiterating that these strategies are not quick fixes to be checked off a list. They demand commitment and reflection. The Stoics would remind us that real transformation occurs when we embed these practices into the fabric of our identities. That shift may involve rethinking ingrained habits. Perhaps you realize you often say yes out of guilt, skip restful breaks to appear more dedicated, or speak over others to feel heard. Observing these habitual patterns is an act of self-inquiry, an essential Stoic exercise. Once recognized, the next step is not to judge yourself harshly, but to consciously direct your actions toward improvement. Through consistent, small adjustments, you begin to embody the virtues you wish to see in the world. As we prepare to delve into the next set of strategies, covering authenticity, seeking help, and composure, we can see how the first 3 steps lay a crucial foundation. Without the discipline of boundary setting, self-care, and mindful listening, more advanced transformations may not find stable ground. By fortifying these habits, you pave the way for deeper Stoic applications, moving beyond mere awareness of personal worth to radiating it in your relationships and community interactions. Through this ongoing journey, you align your daily life with a broader philosophical standpoint that cherishes reason, virtue, and harmonious social engagement, thereby cultivating a reputation that stands on real substance. Having established the bedrock for Stoic-inspired self-improvement and interpersonal resonance, we now shift our lens to a new cluster of approaches that further refine how you present yourself to others. The first 3 strategies revolved primarily around internal resource management and interpersonal courtesy, setting the stage for deeper transformations. Now we turn to concepts that challenge you to present your genuine self, open the door for reciprocal giving, and maintain calmness under pressure. Each of these ideas may seem distinct, but they share a common thread. They guide you to transcend superficial interactions and establish connections of substance. A key Stoic insight, echoing throughout this article, is that the respect and recognition you seek externally will often trace back to inner congruence. Learning to be comfortable in your own skin, to lean on supportive networks, and to stay grounded when turmoil arises, these behaviors project a quiet confidence that others intuitively value. These next three strategies are not complicated on paper, but they require courage, humility, and emotional discipline, all of which the Stoics regarded as cornerstones of a flourishing life. By integrating them into your daily routine, you gradually align your external presence with your internal convictions, paving the way for the authentic, respected identity you aspire to manifest. As you proceed into Part 2, you might want to pause and reflect on where you stand with the first three strategies. Have you begun implementing any changes to your time management or daily routines? Are you noticing a shift in how often you truly listen in conversation? Have you found new ways to prioritize self-care without feeling guilty or neglectful of others? Noticing these subtle transformations is essential because they mark your path forward. The Stoics believed in the power of consistent effort, where each incremental victory compounds over time. So let us continue this journey together, building upon the solid scaffolding we have constructed, so that you can become not just a face in the crowd, but a meaningful presence that others genuinely respect and appreciate. Having built a foundation of self-directed and interpersonal virtues, valuing your time, tending to your personal needs, and honing your listening, you are now poised to integrate the next set of Stoic strategies. While the prior trio established a baseline of respect for yourself and empathy for others, the three approaches in this section delve deeper into the subtleties of personal identity and collaborative engagement. Specifically, embracing authenticity, letting others help you, and staying calm under pressure each address a different dimension of how you show up in the world. Collectively, they encourage a more profound sense of self-awareness, interdependence, and emotional mastery. At their core, these strategies emerge from the Stoic belief that living in harmony with nature involves recognizing both your individuality and your interconnectedness with the greater human community. Authenticity is about shedding pretenses that distract you from your true character, while receiving help gracefully highlights the Stoic understanding that we function within a network of mutual reliance. Meanwhile, composure in stressful moments showcases the Stoic principle that we can govern our internal responses even if we cannot control external occurrences. These concepts, though centuries old, have contemporary relevance in workplaces, family settings, and social spheres where personal branding and emotional display often overshadow genuine interaction. Approaching authenticity, help-seeking, and composure with a Stoic lens positions each as a practiced virtue rather than a random trait you might occasionally exhibit. Authenticity calls upon fortitude, standing by your genuine convictions even when doing so may not yield immediate popularity. Accepting help gracefully demands humility and the wisdom to recognize others' valuable contributions. Composure, in turn, is a testament to emotional prudence, as it involves pausing to assess situations before succumbing to reactionary extremes. Taken together, these practices deepen the respect others hold for you precisely because they demonstrate your ability to navigate complex emotional and social terrain with steadiness and sincerity. As you explore the subsequent paragraphs, keep in mind that each strategy weaves into the fabric of those that came before. Authenticity, for instance, dovetails naturally with self-care. If you are perpetually exhausted or burnt out, maintaining a genuine demeanor becomes more difficult. Similarly, receiving help benefits from strong listening skills, as you must understand how others are willing and able to assist you. And composure, as you will see, depends significantly on your ability to prioritize your time and emotional resources wisely. By continuing to examine these interdependencies, you will piece together a coherent approach to living that fosters both inner peace and meaningful external recognition. In a society captivated by image management where social media thrives on curated presentations of success and happiness, authenticity can feel both liberating and risky. The Stoics, however, encourage you to consider authenticity as a hallmark of rational living. Acting according to your true nature and chosen values helps you find alignment between your internal convictions and external behavior. Conversely, presenting a facade to please others, to avoid disapproval, or to chase fleeting popularity is antithetical to Stoic principles because it surrenders your innate power to external forces. When you are not genuine, you undermine your own psychological harmony. One practical step toward authenticity is consistent self-examination. Seneca, for instance, advocated a nightly practice of reviewing one's actions, asking whether each deed aligned with one's moral and ethical commitments. In our modern context, this might translate into a brief journaling session or digital note-taking at the end of the day, highlighting moments you felt fully yourself and areas where you compromise for the sake of acceptance or an easier route. Noticing these patterns fosters awareness, which is the first step in making conscious adjustments. Over time, repetitive observation can pinpoint specific triggers, people, environments, or situations that prompt you to hide or distort your genuine responses. Another aspect of authenticity involves acknowledging vulnerability. Many individuals adopt masks because they fear judgment if they admit uncertainty or emotional pain. Yet paradoxically, vulnerability, shared judiciously, often enhances respect from others, not diminishes it. When you reveal that you do not have all the answers or that certain experiences genuinely affect you, you invite deeper connections. Friends, colleagues, or partners recognize there is a real person behind your words, not a rehearsed persona. This fosters trust, a currency that underpins meaningful social and professional bonds. Of course, Stoicism cautions about oversharing. Authenticity does not require broadcasting intimate details to everyone, but rather choosing honesty over deception in contexts where openness can strengthen mutual understanding. Living authentically can still encounter resistance. Some circles reward conformity, others might label authenticity as eccentric or naive, yet according to the Stoics, remaining true to your rational assessment of what is right or beneficial takes precedence over fitting in. Over the long run, authenticity becomes self-sustaining. The people who appreciate your genuine self become your core network, while those uncomfortable with it naturally drift away. This filtration process, albeit sometimes painful, frees you from the exhausting task of perpetual performance. In time, you inhabit a social and professional sphere that resonates with who you truly are, enhancing your overall well-being and the consistency of external respect. Embracing authenticity ultimately means giving yourself permission to align your actions with your essence, a move that reaps enduring benefits in both self-esteem and interpersonal dynamics. In a culture that often celebrates self-sufficiency, the simple act of accepting assistance from others can be fraught with discomfort. Stoic philosophy, however, teaches us that humans are naturally interdependent beings. We thrive in communities, forming networks of shared expertise, emotional companionship, and resource exchange. Reflecting on these truths can help erode the perception that seeking or receiving help signifies incompetence or neediness. Instead, it exemplifies practical wisdom to acknowledge when another's input can enrich our endeavors. From a purely relational angle, letting someone help you can deepen bonds. Suppose a friend offers to review a presentation you are preparing for work, or a colleague volunteers to share knowledge about a complex task. By graciously accepting, you exhibit trust in their capability and goodwill. This in turn can enhance your standing in that person's eyes. They see that you value their contributions, which fosters a reciprocal sense of respect. Interestingly, the dynamic is similar on a larger scale. Companies that cultivate a cooperative culture often see better productivity and employee satisfaction. The same principle applies in personal relationships. Reliance on one another is not a weakness, but a testament to communal strength. From a Stoic perspective, leveraging others' help also aligns with the concept of controlling what is within your power. If you can expedite your growth or solve problems more efficiently by inviting another's expertise, it is logical and virtuous to do so. Clinging to ego can trap you in needless struggle, wasting time and emotional energy that could be better allocated elsewhere. By contrast, strategic collaboration is a hallmark of wisdom. This vantage point also dampens the fear of owing someone, because Stoicism frames beneficial exchanges as a natural interplay of human talents, not a transactional ledger where every favor must be meticulously balanced. Moreover, learning how to accept help properly is a skill worth refining. This goes beyond simply saying yes to an offer. It involves expressing clear gratitude, acknowledging the effort, and demonstrating how the assistance genuinely advances your goals. Such transparency ensures the helper feels genuinely appreciated rather than exploited. Over time, a culture of mutual aid blossoms, especially if you reciprocate whenever your strengths could benefit someone else. By weaving these interactions into your daily life, you break down the myth of rugged individualism and let synergy flourish. In so doing, you position yourself not as an isolated achiever but as a respected collaborator, someone who understands that value can be magnified when resources and expertise intersect. Ultimately, this approach broadens your network and instills a perception of you as both capable and collegial, two traits that invite continued respect and positive engagement. A hallmark of Stoic training is the cultivation of calmness under stress. Seneca noted that our fears and anxieties often stem from imagining future miseries, while Epictetus reminded his students that external events themselves are neutral. It is our judgments of these events that breed turmoil. When we remain calm and composed, we maintain the mental clarity to navigate complexities rather than allowing them to overrun our reason. In a modern context, where urgent deadlines, emotional confrontations, and rapid-fire digital communications barrage us daily, composure stands as a rare and highly prized trait. Composure, however, does not equate to emotional suppression. Rather, Stoicism calls for emotional understanding, followed by deliberate response. Consider a heated team meeting where conflicting viewpoints generate tension. An untrained mind might erupt in anger or retreat into silence. A Stoic-minded individual, on the other hand, acknowledges the emotional activation, maybe a spike in heart rate or a flash of resentment, but chooses to pause briefly and question the assumptions fueling that anger. This micro moment of reflection can result in a calmer reply that preserves professional relationships and fosters consensus. Over the long term, people begin to notice that you handle challenges with poise. This reputation for steadiness under fire can open doors to leadership roles or special projects, as colleagues and superiors learn they can rely on your composed judgment. Balancing composure with authenticity does not mean hiding how you really feel. You might, for instance, calmly articulate that a situation is stressful or that you disagree with a proposed plan. The difference lies in your demeanor. You express concerns without letting exasperation or panic color your every word. This measured communication style is powerful. It solves problems more efficiently and garners admiration from onlookers who realize you are neither a pushover nor a hothead. In personal relationships, this composure can also de-escalate conflicts, preventing small disagreements from spiraling into deeper rifts. To cultivate composure, the Stoics recommended mental exercises, such as rehearsing potential scenarios where stress could arise. Modern therapeutic approaches mirror this advice through visualization or role play, helping individuals practice coping mechanisms ahead of time. You might also employ quick mindfulness techniques like counting breaths or doing a brief body scan to regain equilibrium in the heat of the moment. When life's pressures inevitably surface, these small interventions create space to choose a rational response over a reactive outburst. In the grand tapestry of social and professional life, people frequently regard calmness as a sign of maturity and competence. By deliberately integrating such composure, you pave the way for greater trust, leadership opportunities, and emotional well-being. As you layer these three strategies, embracing authenticity, allowing help, and remaining calm, onto the foundation built in Part 1, a nuanced interplay emerges. Authenticity ensures you do not rely on half-truths or inauthentic personas to cope with stressors, making it easier to remain composed because you are not juggling an internal conflict about who you are projecting yourself to be. Likewise, when you are genuine, reaching out for help feels more natural. You are not laboring under the illusion that you must appear infallible or uniformly self-reliant. In turn, calmer responses during challenging moments become more feasible because you can rely on both your inner integrity and external support systems. Consider, for example, how authenticity might shape a situation where you are asked to lead a difficult project at work. Instead of adopting a facade of omniscience, you could openly acknowledge what you know, what you are learning, and where you will need input. This transparency does two things. It signals trustworthiness and creates a channel for others to offer their skills without feeling overshadowed by your persona. As a result, you set the stage for shared assistance, Strategy 5, and collaborative success. When obstacles arise, your calm approach, Strategy 6, diffuses panic, focusing the group on solutions rather than blame. Over time, such leadership style cements your reputation as someone not only dependable, but also empathetic and secure in your own skin. Within personal relationships, a similar dynamic unfolds. Suppose you are in the midst of a family crisis, such as caring for an ailing relative. Authenticity allows you to communicate both your emotional limits and your love honestly, forging deeper trust with other family members. By letting them help, you showcase humility and foster collective resilience. And by maintaining composure, you guide everyone involved away from unproductive emotional spirals, facilitating practical steps that benefit the relative in need. In such a high-stakes, emotionally charged situation, these three strategies become the glue that keeps interpersonal ties strong rather than strained. From a philosophical standpoint, this synergy exemplifies the Stoic concept of living in accordance with nature, where nature includes not only your individual essence, but also the communal fabric that links human beings. Each of the three strategies upholds different aspects of rational and ethical human interaction: honesty with oneself, acknowledgement of mutual dependence, and mastery of emotional states. Acting in concert, they can radically elevate your capacity to be recognized as a stabilizing, constructive force in any setting. This recognition, grounded in real virtues rather than superficial tactics, is precisely what yields lasting respect. Translating these principles into real-world settings requires intentional practices. For authenticity, one practical step might be selective self-disclosure in social media posts or office conversations. If you usually sugarcoat your achievements or downplay your struggles for fear of losing face, experiment with honesty that is both respectful and revealing. You will likely find that sharing genuine experiences, even modestly, resonates more than presenting a polished, perfect image. Not everyone will applaud your candor, but the connections you nurture become more sincere and resilient. As for letting others help, small shifts in daily habits can alter your outlook. If you typically power through tasks alone, test out collaboration. Invite feedback from a colleague. request a friend's input on a personal dilemma, or explore mentorship for career growth. These actions underscore a crucial Stoic theme, acknowledging where your control ends. Recognizing the boundaries of your expertise or bandwidth is not an admission of defeat, but a demonstration of pragmatic wisdom. By leaning on others where beneficial, you optimize your time and foster an environment where reciprocity flourishes. Over weeks and months, this pattern of collaboration not only alleviates your burdens, but also forges stronger alliances, each contributing to the sense that you are an integral, valued part of a larger whole. Cultivating composure might involve more targeted mental exercises. Prior to high-stakes meetings or confrontations, engage in a brief session of premeditatio malorum, a Stoic exercise in which you calmly envision potential negative outcomes. By acknowledging these possibilities, you rob them of their capacity to shock you if they do materialize. In everyday moments, you could use a grounding phrase or silent mantra to refocus when stress escalates. For instance, repeating a succinct line like, "I choose my response," can remind you of your agency. This technique is especially handy when external chaos threatens to trigger knee-jerk reactions. Over time, these mini habits accumulate, transforming composure into a reflex rather than an occasional achievement. Ultimately, these approaches enrich the environment around you. Colleagues feel safer presenting new ideas because they trust your sincerity and calm feedback. Friends turn to you with their vulnerabilities, sensing you will not belittle or dismiss them. Family members learn that crises can be navigated productively, even if they are emotionally difficult. You, in turn, receive reciprocal respect, support, and understanding. It is a cycle that begins with introspection and the willingness to apply Stoic ideals consistently in everyday decisions. As these behaviors become second nature, they shape an identity that others recognize as solid, genuine, and gracious. An identity aligned with the Stoic vision of flourishing. Having integrated these 6 strategies, 3 focused on personal boundary setting and foundational empathy, followed by 3 centered on authenticity, mutual support, and poise, you stand on the threshold of a more advanced, holistic practice of Stoic-inspired living. Yet, the journey is not complete. In the final section, we will explore how discretion, embracing challenges, and gratitude complete this 9-fold approach to earning genuine respect from others while maintaining a deep sense of self-worth. Each of these final strategies adds another dimension to the Stoic tapestry, ensuring that your personal evolution remains balanced and considerate of both your individual needs and the dynamics of your broader community. It is worth remembering that none of these strategies operate in isolation. They are interconnected threads that, when woven together, create a robust, resilient fabric of character. Before you proceed, consider taking a reflective pause. Have you already noticed subtle improvements in how you feel about yourself and how people respond to you? If so, these shifts are often the fruit of cumulative changes that align your daily life with Stoic virtues: rationality, temperance, courage, and justice. In Part 3, you will learn how to safeguard these transformations while continuing to expand your growth in ways that resonate deeply with the fundamental Stoic ethos. As we enter the concluding segment, the upcoming 3 strategies, maintaining discretion, challenging yourself, and cultivating gratitude, round out the Stoic roadmap for not just being noticed but being genuinely respected. We often focus on outward expressions, such as effective communication or boldness in pursuit of goals, when trying to elevate our standing. But Stoicism reminds us that how we guard our internal world, discretion, push our personal boundaries, challenge, and perceive the gifts around us, gratitude, play equally pivotal roles in forging a life that others find admirable. When integrated with the previous 6 strategies, these last 3 principles establish a holistic framework for personal development and social impact. Each strategy highlights a different aspect of Stoic virtue. Discretion ensures that you do not squander your inner tranquility through thoughtless self-exposure or harmful gossip. Constantly challenging yourself upholds the Stoic ethos of self-improvement, acknowledging that true growth often emerges in the crucible of adversity. Meanwhile, gratitude acts as the emotional fulcrum, reminding you of life's bounty and deepening your connection to those around you. When all 9 strategies are practiced in unison, they form a dynamic ecosystem of behaviors and mindsets that naturally commands respect and fosters enduring relationships. At this point, it is helpful to recognize that the Stoic pursuit of respect is never purely about external accolades. Marcus Aurelius's private reflections, for example, exhibit a continuous dialogue with himself about moral integrity and duty, suggesting that external validation is secondary to living in alignment with one's principles. Yet, in many ways, the respect you garner from others will be a measure of how consistently you embody these Stoic virtues. After all, people gravitate toward authenticity, composure, empathy, and quiet strength. The final 3 strategies help ensure that your progress remains anchored in a sense of ethical responsibility, inner growth, and sincere gratitude, rather than deteriorating into a self-serving quest for attention. In a culture saturated with social media updates, personal branding, and relentless self-disclosure, discretion might feel like a throwback to a more private era. Yet the Stoics advocated a measured approach to sharing yourself with others, mindful that certain thoughts, struggles, or aspirations are best nurtured within your own internal sanctuary, or disclosed only to trusted confidants. This principle resonates strongly with Epictetus's notion that one should be silent for the most part unless one truly has something necessary or worthwhile to say. The intent is neither secrecy nor aloofness, but rather a careful guardianship of your inner life. Discretion preserves your mental and emotional energies. When you divulge too much indiscriminately, be it your vulnerabilities, your achievements, or even your daily musings, you expose yourself to an avalanche of external judgments, unsolicited opinions, or misunderstandings. While some level of feedback is beneficial, constant scrutiny can disrupt your sense of self. Moreover, oversharing can dilute the significance of your personal insights, rendering them mere background noise in the cacophony of modern discourse. The Stoics, ever the champions of moderation, suggest a tempered path. Share when it fosters connection, personal growth, or community well-being, but refrain when the motive is vanity, insecurity, or idle chatter. This does not mean stifling your voice or masking authenticity. Instead, it is about choosing the context, timing, and depth of disclosure that best serve both you and the receiver. Some scenarios demand openness, like discussing mental health challenges with a professional or seeking counsel from a close friend. Others, such as public forums or casual acquaintances, call for restraint unless a specific purpose is served. By exercising discretion, you convey self-awareness and composure. Colleagues and acquaintances may interpret your measured sharing as a sign of thoughtfulness, underscoring the idea that when you do speak, you likely have something of substance to offer. Practicing discretion also involves curbing the impulse to engage in gossip or reveal someone else's personal affairs. The Stoics placed great emphasis on justice and benevolence, virtues that conflict with idle speculation about others. By refusing to participate in rumor spreading or by cutting short conversations that pivot to backbiting, you position yourself as a person of principle. Over time, this stance cultivates trust. People feel safer around you knowing you are not apt to broadcast private details or disparage them behind their backs. This trust, in turn, enhances your social capital, forging alliances grounded in mutual respect rather than transient curiosity or negativity. In an age that blurs the line between personal and public, the deliberate practice of discretion stands out as both a shield for your inner harmony and a magnet for others' esteem. Next on our Stoic agenda is the imperative to embrace challenges, or, more accurately, to seek them out where reasonable. The ancient Stoics viewed hardship not purely as misfortune, but as an arena where virtue could be tested and strengthened. This mindset counters our natural inclination to avoid discomfort, offering instead a perspective that adversity can be a catalyst for self-discovery and skill development. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, frequently thanked the gods for the trials he faced, interpreting them as stepping stones toward greater resilience and wisdom. In contemporary life, challenges take myriad forms. They might appear as professional hurdles like learning a new skill or accepting an unconventional project. They may arise in personal spheres, striving for improved fitness, tackling a lingering emotional wound, or venturing into unfamiliar social environments to expand your horizons. The point is not to blindly court danger or difficulty for its own sake, but to recognize that remaining perpetually in your comfort zone can breed stagnation. Stoics argue that the discomfort inherent in growth spurs reflection, creativity, and renewed purpose, all of which are essential for developing virtues like courage and perseverance. From a social and professional standpoint, those who consistently challenge themselves tend to radiate dynamism and determination. Consider the coworker who volunteers for tasks slightly above their current expertise, or the friend who decides to learn a new language purely for self-improvement. Observers respect and are often inspired by such initiative. In the workplace, superiors may see you as proactive, reinforcing a cycle of trust and responsibility that further expands your capabilities. Among peers, your willingness to experiment and confront obstacles can galvanize others to follow suit. The net effect, you become a catalyst for collective advancement, underscoring the Stoic principle that personal growth and community well-being are not mutually exclusive. Importantly, self-challenge in Stoic terms also involves reflection on what each challenge teaches you about your character. It is not enough to simply wade through difficulties. The Stoics urged conscious extraction of lessons. For example, if you fail at a project, the point is not to wallow in regret, but to inquire, which assumptions did I make that contributed to this outcome? How might I apply these lessons in the future? This approach transforms missteps into building blocks. Over time, the repeated cycle of facing challenges, evaluating their outcomes, and refining your approach fosters an adaptability that few can ignore. Others take note of your durability and the wisdom gleaned from each test, often equating these qualities with strong leadership and depth of character. Thus, by welcoming challenges, you align with the Stoic vision of life as a continuous workshop of self-improvement, a stance that naturally invites respect from those who witness your evolution. Completing our 9-strategy framework is cultivating gratitude, a practice that reframes our daily experiences and intensifies our appreciation of life's myriad gifts. Stoics, perhaps surprisingly to modern audiences, placed a high value on gratitude. Epictetus, for instance, recommended that we take stock of what we do have, rather than lament what is absent. This shift in perspective counters the ever-present temptation to compare ourselves with others or to fixate on future desires, both of which can lead to constant dissatisfaction. Gratitude functions on multiple levels. Psychologically, it encourages a focus on positives, amplifying well-being and fostering a sense of abundance rather than scarcity. Socially, expressing gratitude fortifies relationships by affirming the importance of the other person's contributions. When you convey sincere thanks to a friend who offers emotional support or a colleague who shares valuable insight, you acknowledge them as integral to your personal or professional journey. This validation builds stronger rapport, as most individuals yearn to feel recognized for their efforts. Over time, Your reputation as someone who notices and values others' contributions can forge a network that is both supportive and eager to reciprocate. From a Stoic standpoint, gratitude is not limited to the good things you receive. The tradition encourages extending thankfulness to challenging experiences too, because they sharpen your resilience. If you endured a difficult manager at work or faced repeated rejections in your job hunt, you might later discover that these struggles refined your emotional fortitude or clarified your career aspiration. Incorporating this broader perspective of gratitude can be transformative. Instead of viewing life events as purely beneficial or detrimental, you begin to see them as interconnected stepping stones that shape your character and guide your path. Integrating gratitude into daily routines can be straightforward. Some adopt a journaling habit, jotting down 3 things they appreciate each evening. Others practice verbal affirmations or share moments of gratitude with family during mealtimes. You can also weave gratitude into professional settings, perhaps ending a team meeting by acknowledging collective achievements or individuals' standout efforts. These consistent gestures shift the emotional tone of your environment, breeding goodwill and respect. People who feel genuinely appreciated often return that sentiment, nurturing a cycle of positive reinforcement that enhances morale, loyalty, and productivity. Now that we have explored all 9 strategies, it becomes evident how discretion, constant challenge, and gratitude enrich and complement the previous 6. Discretion adds a layer of protective nuance, safeguarding the personal growth you achieve and helping you selectively reveal your authentic self. Strategy 4, without succumbing to oversharing. Challenging yourself unifies with your commitment to valuing time. Strategy 1, and self-care. Strategy 2, because the resources you preserve for meaningful undertakings can be channeled into purposeful risks and learning experiences. Gratitude, in turn, magnifies the empathetic mindset that underlies listening more. Strategy 3, letting others help. Strategy 5, and projecting composure. Strategy 6, by emphasizing recognition of both the support you receive and the internal strengths you develop. Furthermore, these last 3 strategies weave seamlessly into the Stoic moral vision. Discretion reflects the virtues of wisdom and self-control, while embracing challenges directly tests courage and perseverance. Gratitude uplifts temperance and justice by framing your outlook in a way that honors both your own progress and the contributions of those around you. When all these virtues interact, they crystallize into a coherent lifestyle that resonates with the Stoic aim of living in accordance with nature. Nature here signifying both your individual constitution and your communal obligations. Another notable synergy involves public and private spheres. Practicing discretion and gratitude simultaneously prevents you from seeking attention merely for the sake of it. You may, for instance, quietly appreciate a mentor's guidance rather than broadcasting every detail of the mentorship on social media. Yet in personal moments of reflection or in direct communication with that mentor, you express heartfelt thanks, reinforcing a sincere bond. This nuanced blend of private introspection and strategic openness fosters an environment where respect grows from genuine acknowledgement rather than from superficial demonstrations. In the end, the synergy among all 9 strategies points to a single overarching theme. Respect emerges naturally when individuals commit to ethical self-governance, rational reflection, and meaningful contribution to others. The more wholeheartedly you embody these Stoic-oriented behaviors, the more you will find that external recognition aligns with your internal sense of worth. Indeed, the legacy of Stoicism reminds us that while the world's esteem may be gratifying, the truest measure of success lies in whether we have lived in harmony with our guiding principles. Adopting all 9 strategies need not be an overnight affair. Stoic thought consistently underscores the importance of steady, incremental progress, Each day, you might choose one or two strategies to focus on. Perhaps you begin your morning with a brief meditation on how you will set boundaries, value your time, and practice discretion in your communications. Later, when opportunities arise, such as deciding whether to accept a new task at work or weigh in on a controversial group chat, you recall these intentions, making choices that reflect your Stoic commitments. This mindful approach eventually becomes habit. If you systematically pause to ask, is this request or conversation aligning with my principles? Will this disclosure compromise my sense of discretion, or is it legitimately helpful? You refine your moral and practical compass. Over time, repeated application fosters deeper behavioral change. Additionally, journaling can be an invaluable tool. You can track which strategies you employed each day, what the outcomes were, and how you felt in the aftermath. By reviewing your notes weekly or monthly, you gain insight into patterns of growth and areas needing more attention. Interpersonal feedback can also accelerate or affirm your progress. You might notice that coworkers begin to seek you out for guidance, citing your calm demeanor or reliable judgment. Or friends might remark that you seem more at peace or grounded lately. Such observations serve as external confirmations that your internal transformations are resonating outwardly. Nevertheless, Stoicism teaches that internal validation remains paramount. While external cues can be encouraging, the real prize is living in a way that feels coherent, purposeful, and humane according to your own reasoned perspective. Should you encounter setbacks or revert to old habits, like overcommitting time, snapping in frustration, or oversharing personal details, treat these lapses as opportunities for refinement rather than excuses to abandon the path. True to the Stoic ethos, every failure is instructive when viewed through the lens of "what can I learn here?" rather than "why am I flawed?" In this manner, the continuous loop of practice, reflection, and adjustment becomes a lifelong endeavor. The 9 strategies do not represent a finite checklist, but rather a philosophical guide to living with integrity. Earning respect, in this sense, is not a static achievement but an evolving process, mirroring your ongoing journey toward greater self-awareness and virtuous conduct. With all 9 strategies now outlined, valuing your time, caring for yourself first, listening more than you speak, embracing authenticity, letting others help you, staying calm under stress, maintaining discretion, challenging yourself, and cultivating gratitude, you hold a comprehensive toolkit for transforming how you experience life and how others perceive you. While these approaches are rooted in ancient Stoic teachings, their relevance transcends time, offering a stable foundation for navigating a world where superficial measures of success can overshadow deeper values. By systematically integrating these practices into your daily routine, you step into a realm where self-approval and external respect intertwine naturally, each reinforcing the other. Essentially, your worth in the eyes of others becomes a reflection of the virtues you embody. When you set and uphold boundaries, you demonstrate discipline and respect for your own existence. When you care for your well-being, you preserve the physical, emotional, and mental resources needed to engage with the world wholeheartedly. When you listen attentively and speak judiciously, you reflect empathy and thoughtfulness, attributes universally admired. By revealing your authentic self, you demonstrate the courage and honesty that evoke trust. Welcoming assistance underscores humility and communal spirit, just as composure in adversity reveals maturity and emotional resilience. Finally, through discretion, you keep your personal sanctum intact. By challenging yourself, you model growth and adaptability, and by showing gratitude, you maintain a spirit of appreciation that nurtures enduring bonds. From a Stoic vantage point, the culmination of these interwoven strategies is a life lived in accordance with nature, characterized by reason, virtue, and beneficial relationships. Public esteem, while never the ultimate aim, becomes a natural byproduct of your moral evolution. This respect is not brittle or transient, hinging on external accolades, but rather stable and enduring, anchored in the consistent alignment of your inner values and outward action. In times of personal or global crisis, you remain equipped to uphold your core principles, thereby shining as a guiding presence for others who seek stability amidst turbulence. The path forward is as much about maintaining these behaviors as it is about refining them. Stoic wisdom continually reminds us that self-improvement is an ongoing journey, replete with new tests, lessons, and revelations. Whether you are a seasoned leader seeking deeper authenticity or someone stepping onto the Stoic path for the first time, these strategies provide a scaffold for perpetual growth. True respect, grounded in virtue, authenticity, composure, and empathy, stands as an emblem of a life well lived, a life where what you do and how you do it resonate in harmony. May these 9 strategies serve as your compass, guiding you toward a future where you stand firm in your worth, uplift others through your presence, and navigate existence with grace and mindful intention. Stepping into a life shaped by Stoic wisdom is about more than just feeling better. It's about becoming the kind of person others naturally admire and gravitate toward. Whether you're aiming to enhance your career, build stronger relationships, or simply find more peace amid daily chaos, these strategies offer practical, real-life solutions. Imagine feeling calm in the face of stress, confident in difficult conversations, and genuinely grateful for the everyday wins that most overlook. This approach isn't just transformative, it's empowering, guiding you toward a richer, more fulfilling existence. But enough from me, I'd love to hear your stories. Which of these strategies resonates with you the most? Drop a comment below to share your experiences, questions, or ideas. Your insights could inspire someone else's journey to living a stronger, happier, and more purpose-driven life. Let's build this conversation together.